this is Amy. Welcome to Gluten Free for All, and let's get into the video. Hi guys, so today we're going to be making Gillian's home-style stuffing. They have a recipe on the back of the bag. I don't follow recipes well, so I'm going to read this off to you guys, and then you'll kind of see what I'm going to do instead. So they have one bag of Gillian's gluten-free stuffing, 9 ounces of pork sausage removed from casing and break apart. I'm not putting meat in this at all. Half a cup of onions, coarsely chopped, half a cup of celery chopped, half a cup of butter, half a cup of fresh parsley chopped, 1 cup of gluten-free chicken stock, 2 eggs beaten, and freshly ground pepper and salt to taste. So the ingredients we're actually using are as such. 2 eggs beaten we can handle. I like to put mushrooms in my stuffing, so I have one of those little cans of mushrooms. So that's probably about a half a cup, right? I don't know. I put it to, you know, eyeballed it. I had my chopped parsley here, but after I chopped it, I realized it's not actually parsley, it's a cilantro. So, yeah, we're not going to put that in, but it looks real cute in the bowl, doesn't it? I used 3 ribs of celery, which is definitely more than a half a cup, but that's fine, because we're not putting the sausage in, so we need to take up space anyway, right? I used 1 onion, which kind of yielded what looks to be a lot of onion, but it was only 1 onion. And sorry about that beep, I'm preheating the oven. And then I did 3 carrots, which again turns out to be a lot, so we probably won't even use that all. I've got my little Pyrex here. I sprayed it with some cooking spray. And I've got my broth. I did not do chicken stock. I'm using mushroom broth. And for my butter, I've got the Earth Balance vegan butter sticks. 4 ounces is a half a cup. So we're good on that. But the recipe says that we are to saute the sausage with the onions and the celery and the butter. I'm not doing any of that because I don't have sausage to brown. So I'm just gonna kind of like mix everything together in this Pyrex and hope for the best. I'll cook it for as long as it says to cook it. I preheated it to 325 degrees like it says on the package. And it says to cook it for a half an hour uncovered, and then a half an hour covered, and then a half an hour uncovered, so you can sort of crisp the top. I might cook it for a little longer just because I'm not sauteing it first. So I might do like a half an hour uncovered. No, I'll probably do an hour uncovered, or an hour covered. Sorry guys. And then a half hour uncovered. But I am gonna keep it at the same temperature, and you know, that's it. So I'm gonna start making this for you guys. Unless of course I can't open the bag. If you've seen our Magic the Gathering videos, then you know that I'm terrible with anything foily that has to be opened. Oh God. Well, I said it and now you know it's true. Check out our Magic the Gathering videos on our other channel, please. Geek for All. The number 4. Okay. You can find that in the channels tab, or you can find it in the description of this video. Alright, so this is all in here. I guess I just like toss things in and mix it around, right? So, doing that. Egg. That's been sitting there a little bit, so it's kind of stuck to the bowl. Gross. I'm going to need to measure out some of this broth. I kind of forgot to do that ahead of time. Putting the mushrooms in while trying to avoid the cilantro, because that would be a very interesting taste for this stuffing if I accidentally put that in there. So we're going to avoid that. Really sorry I put it in the same bowl. But you know, holidays come around, there's always something weird that happens and goes wrong, so it's, you know, it is what it is. Usually when I make stuffing, I put mushrooms in, I put in fresh sage. I've never done it with parsley before, and apparently I'm not today either. But some of these pieces are way too big. But I have here very fancy little Lazy Susans with all of my spices, all of my powdered spices. So I'll just use a lot of that, I guess. So I'm using almost all of this onion. And then for the carrot, I'm probably just going to do a couple handfuls. That looks, maybe a little more. That looks fine. Yeah. So we're going to cut, and I'm going to try to measure out this broth, and we'll come back in when I've got the broth and the butter ready to go. Alright, so I measured out a cup of the mushroom broth. Now I'm using mushroom just because I didn't want there to be any meat influences in here. It's technically not vegan or anything because there are eggs in it, but I did want to, you know, keep meat out of the equation here just because, you know, we're going to be eating turkey and that's enough meat. Here is my butter, my vegan earth balance butter. I stuck it in the microwave for a little bit and it's melted and we're going to pour it right in here. Oh, that's delicious smelling. And yeah, I'm gonna mix this around and hopefully not fling it all over my kitchen. Ooh, it's kind of working. I should have put it in a bigger bowl and then decided to put it in the Pyrex after, but you know, I don't add extra steps. I just end up adding extra steps when I have to clean my whole kitchen all over again because I made a huge mess. That's just the way the way I do anything in the kitchen, really. But alright, I'm checking my ratios here because I'm obviously winging my proportions of ingredients here. So there's not a lot of stuffing and there's a lot of stuff in my stuffing, but that's okay. And you can do what you will with that line. I think it's going to be delicious nonetheless, but it definitely will need more time to cook than the package said, which we, you know, already knew. So when I put these carrots in here, I said how many carrots I used, but I didn't say that I shredded them in the food processor, which is an important part of this process, because I think it would have been a lot harder if I tried to just chop them and put them in here, just because carrots are such a hard vegetable. I don't think they would have softened the way the rest of this stuff will, like the onion and the celery. I don't think onion and celery need as much time to cook to soften as carrots do, so that's why I shredded them. Now I'm gonna add some spices to this. I'll use some parsley because that's one of the items that was actually on the ingredients list that we couldn't use because I didn't have it, interestingly enough, even though I thought I did. We're going to use the big side. But I usually use fresh sage when making stuffing, so I'm going to add sage as well. Alright, that looks good. Sage. Now, I only have powdered sage. It's not flaked like the parsley was. So I kind of have to be careful not to use too much of this. Because one problem I do have when I make stuffing with fresh sage is I end up using too much of the fresh sage, and then the whole thing just tastes like sage. And you do want some sage flavor, but you don't want the whole thing to just taste like sage. So that tends to be my problem when I make stuffing. I am going to add some marjoram as well, because I love marjoram for stews or pot roast or just kind of anything that I can't put Italian seasonings in, because I love using Italian seasoning, and marjoram's kind of my go-to to add more flavor to something that I can't use any Italian seasonings for. So I think that's it. I'm just gonna start cooking. Alright, so I'm just gonna stir this up a little bit, put some tin foil on top, and then we'll get it cooking. Just want to get these herbs all mixed in. As you can see, I keep dropping things, so I wasn't lying when I said I mess up my kitchen every time I cook in it. Alrighty, I think that's good. Okay. Oh, my oven racks are not great here, positioning of them. I want to get this nice and centered. I'm going to move it down a couple notches in here. And then we'll set our timer for 1 hour. We said we would do for the covered portion of our cook time. Let's see what we're looking like. Well, it's kind of crisp. All right. But it still seems, let me just grab this spoon. It still seems moist. I'm just gonna mix it up a bit. And then I don't know if we're gonna need the full half hour, but I think we can maybe do 15 minutes uncovered. Or maybe 10. I don't want it to lose too much of the moisture. So, but you're supposed to keep it on the same temperature, which is 325. Alrighty, we'll get it back in there. I neglected to mention to you guys, but I really wanted to because it was rather funny. The package, so I'm going to set this for 10 minutes. The package for this stuffing specifies bacon in 8-inch casserole covered at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for a half hour. It says half hour. Do you see that? Then it says, and then uncovered for 30 minutes. Do they not realize that a half hour and 30 minutes are the same duration of time? That they have to write it in two different ways? I just thought that was funny, so I thought you guys might want to hear it. But yeah, so we'll give that another 10 minutes, we'll cut back in, and then we'll do a taste test. Okay. So after 10 on 325, we've got some crispness. I like it. And it's not too moist throughout in other areas. It's pretty good. I like this consistency. So we'll give this a bit of a taste test here, and we'll try to get a good cross section of it on the spoon here. Okay. I did chop up the mushrooms. They've gotten to a point where they're just so like mushed in that it's not even like a thing you can find in here, which is good because my husband hates mushrooms. And that way he won't even notice they're in here. The celery is a bit crunchier than I would have liked. So maybe when we reheat this on the day, we will add some water in and allow the celery to cook a bit more, like steam in there almost. Yeah, it's pretty good though. I usually don't put onions in my stuffing either. I wonder if that's unusual. I got a piece of onion. It's really good. Yeah, so I recommend the mix. I can't really recommend the recipe because I didn't really follow it, but if you guys get the Gillian's stuffing mix and you follow the recipe to a T, let me know how it is in the comments. And let me know just when you guys make stuffing, what do you do? Do you usually put carrots in? Do you usually put onions in? Do you like using fresh sage? I want to know, so leave it in the comments for me. Thanks for joining me in celebrating your gluten freedom. Leave your thoughts in the comments section for me below. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell to get notified of new videos. If you'd like to see more of us here at the Geek for All family of channels, check the description box down below. I'm Amy, and thanks so much for watching.